Hello and welcome, Guy Glidden here. This is a beginning of a set of screencasts to help you with Excel skill development. Now this screencast I'm going to try to give you about 2 minutes of background information so you'll know what your resources are, and then try for about 10 or 11 minutes of support on the basics of beginning with the first set of support tools for Excel. Okay, here's the process. At the end of this experience, you're going to be asked to demonstrate a set of specific Excel tasks on a test-out process. You can be provided with a demo file that I will provide you to do this with, or if you'd rather, you can use a data set from your place of work. The skills you're going to demonstrate are going to be the same, and they'll be pretty clear when you go through the process. To get started in the process, here are the tools you're going to have or you're going to need. And the first you're going to have to provide yourself. You're going to have access to a computer with Microsoft Excel. Check around your place of work. If you don't have it at home, I don't know right now of any school, public or private, in Kansas that doesn't have Microsoft Excel, at least some version. Secondly, you're going to have a computer file. It's an Excel file. It's going to be called Practice and Demo for Research 1. So this is the tool that's going to be, and we're going to be spending a bit of time beginning to look at that today as a part of this process. And then I'm going to provide you with 4 screencast lessons. Now, on this PowerPoint presentation, I'm not going to spend much time going through the rest of this, but suffice to say, if you think you already have a set of skills, you can go to this, and this will, the PowerPoint presentation will give you a checklist of the things we're going to do in each of the help sessions. If you already know to do these things, move on and don't spend your time. And so the first one, and this is the example, these are the basics we're going to spend time with today. I'm going to introduce you to the Excel file. We're going to go through some basic tools like sort and filter. At the end of the process, you're going to know a little bit about the function and organization of Excel, and you're going to be ready to move on to some more demanding things. So to do that, let's move on to the Excel file, and I'm going to be moving this around a little bit, and I'm going to start by showing you a picture of the top of the desktop on an Excel file. And you'll notice I'm in the home position, and you'll notice there's a data file right below it. You only see a fraction of it right now, but suffice to say we'll be exploring a little bit more of it. The operation of the file is pretty much like anything else, except that you need to go in because we're going to be using insert, and on the insert section you'll see pivot table. We'll be talking about that later, plus the setups for a graph and chart, something we're going to do later. And data, there are going to be 2 functions that particularly there you're going to be looking at there. We'll explore some more things as we go along, but let's start where we are right now we'll be looking at data. Before we do that, let me show you something about the file you're going to be using here. Now, and decide to say, and I pulled it down so you can see the labels of the sheets, because Excel files are composed of sheets, and then each sheet has a whole set of cells that are organized in columns and rows. And the sheets in this file are the reading skills. That's a set of that's a file, an actual data file. 4 Excel help sessions, reading scores, and then 3 other files: Eagle Schools, Douglas, Finney, Ford and Gray, Finney, Ford and Gray. We'll talk about those later. But let's go back to reading skills and go up to the top now, because I'm going to start by looking under data. And there are 2 functions that help you see kind of a little bit about what Excel does. And let's go first of all to the sort function here. And you'll notice when I do that, a menu pops up in place, and it's going to look like this. And so to sort, it's just exactly what you think. I can find a category. Now, my current file is already organized alphabetically by name of student. Let's suppose I wanted to look at narrative test scores, and I wanted to do that. So presto, I pressed the button, and what it did is it organized my Excel test scores from lowest score to highest score. So it rank ordered all the scores by the score in the narrative column, which was a subtest of scores. And we go back up here to the top and we do sort again. And suppose this time we say we go to name, which is going to put it right back where it started from, and it's going to be alphabetical. And so bingo, alphabetical file. Now the other thing that you should know about sort is you can do a sort within a sort within a sort. So if I said, okay, I want to start by looking, I want to organize the kids by school. There's a school grouping in here. Then I want to organize them by gender. I'm sorry, I do that. Let's start again. Sorry about that. School, add a level. Sex or gender, add a level. And name, bingo. And so first of all, right off the top, one of my schools is labeled School 101. That's this column right here. And then we go in the idea, and then these happen to be, so then we've done it, and we have the names of the kids within that particular category. So again, we can do a sort within a sort within a sort. Let's cancel that out, and that's one of the things we're going to do right now. Sorry, cancel. Okay, expand the selection. Okay, so let's go and we can delete this one and delete, sorry, we're going to delete a level, going to delete a level, going to delete a level, and we're going to go to the top one again, and let's organize them again by name, and bingo, again, we're back to where we started from. Filters operates a little bit differently, and in the filter process, you'll notice when I hit the filter button, a little tab menu pulls down here. Now, and so I can, so for example, go to group, and it will tell me that I have disabled category, something labeled disabled, something labeled general education. I must have some blanks in, or I could select all. So let's go and select disabled, and it simply, what it did is it filtered out everybody except for the group of disabled students. And this is significant because in this group here, there were 326 scores, and only 30 of them were disabled. So this is another tool you can use. Now, let's go ahead and do two other explanations, and then I'm going to show you something else. You know, before we go on, you need to also know that each sheet is organized by columns. Here's column C, which is the name column. Here's column G, which is a test score column. Then there are rows, and this is a row for Andre, who is a disabled student and has a group of test scores here. So you can do that. But in each case, within the rows and columns, each cell is exactly named. So this particular cell right here is G25. Let's move this over so you can see that. And the 25 and the G. So if I were to ask you cell G25, it would be the narrative test score for Andre. Now, one of the other things I'm going to want you to do is I want you to be able to move data, and I'll go down to the bottom to show you a little bit here, because you'll notice I have a blank sheet after the other data that I have. Let's go back to reading scores here quickly here, and we're going to go up here, and I'll move this up a little bit so you can see it, and I'm going to highlight the scores that I just use the filter to separate from the other things. I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a copy command. I'm going to go over to sheet number 2, which is blank. I'm going to hit the paste button, and voila, I have created a new sheet. It is a subpart of reading scores. So over here, reading scores, let's go over here and take this tab off here so that filters off. Okay, here's what you need to know. If you do a copy and you take the filter off in the original file, those filtered out group of students are still there. But I also created a different file for the purpose of copying the group that were filtered. So again, practice with copies, cuts, same process that you would use in Word, that if it cut, it takes it out. If it copies, it simply makes a copy of it. Paste. We'll talk about special paste in a little bit. This is not a good time to do it, but there is a special paste function which is important in Excel. And let's go on and do something now that I want to demonstrate to you. And I want to go down here to the bottom of this column here. And I want to do several things here. So first of all, let's demonstrate something about the live cell. Obviously, the live cell is where you can enter data, which I've just done. You can do that to your heart's content, anything you want. But it also allows you to do other things because Excel's trying to think. So it will drag a function. So if I give it a picture of a sequence that I wanted to copy and drag it, it drags that number 202 down the process. Now let's take those out and do something else now. Let's suppose I wanted to establish a different pattern. Now I want to go 202, 203, 204, and I've established a pattern of a sequence going up a number each time. Excel understands that, and it drags that function. So it will drag the function. Now, before we run out of time, I want to demonstrate one other thing. So and this is something you guys need to practice with. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to delete the things I did in here. And I want to do one other thing here today. And I want to demonstrate something that you're going to need to know about, and it's something called the function wizard. And this the little funny looking box over here with it looks like a script F with a small X below it. That's called the function wizard. Now look on that column G, which you can see, you can't see the top of it, is a row of test scores. It's a set of numbers. And so if I go to function wizard and I tell it that I want it to do an average, bingo, and I do OK. Now it says, it comes up with a screen and it says, basically it says, do you want to do an average of the numbers in column G, rows 2 through 31? And that means it's going to be inclusive. And I say, well, yes, that's a good idea to me. I'll go ahead and do that. And it created an average for me. So look at up here at the top. It created equal average parenthesis G2 colon G31 close parenthesis. Remember that because we're going to make of that. And then one other thing, which we can go down to the bottom here. I'll show you here. It will drag that function across the other numbers here. So basically, if I said, and now notice here that when I drag the function, this is really like now the average of, sorry about that, trying to get the screen so you can see it. And let's go back up to the top here. I want to show you that the average under column H, average under column I, and so in other words, it will drag the function. So again, what have we talked about here today? Well, we have simply come through and we've looked at some concepts. We've talked about sort and filter, organization of Excel. We used cut, copy. We didn't use cut, but you understand that, I suspect, and copy. We've talked about you can create new sheets. You can also create and insert new rows and columns. And you want to be able to delete. So go to the practice file, which is available. Give it a try. See what you're going to do. And we're going to be ready to go on to some new skills for lesson 2 in just a little bit.